truth, and life. Here is the Brother Leon Show. You better recognize.
What's going on, listeners? This is your boy, Brother Leon, and you are tuning into another episode of the Brother Leon Show. So today, guys, we are going to have Lauren Hilton on the show today. Yes, the one thing that I want you guys to understand is this, is that Truth and Life Urban Ministry, as well as Brother Leon, would not even have a platform if it wasn't for Pastor George E. Hilton and Church of the Firstborn. And so I did an interview with First Lady Stephanie Hilton a while back during season 1. And this season, we are going to have Pastor George's daughter, Lauren Hilton, speak today. Because the one thing I want you guys to understand is that when Pastor Hilton passed, you got to begin to look at it not only from the church side, but you also have to begin to look at it from his family side. And so that's the one thing, man, I was so happy to have First Lady Hilton on the show because she unpacked it, because it was a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of controversy, surrounding Pastor George's death, even surrounding, Church of the Firstborn. And so, what we strive to do with that interview was talk about Pastor George, the man. And so I'm not going to lie. He is my model and template when it comes to pastoring. And so I'm like, Lord, if I can just be that good or have that kind of heart, that means the world to me. But the one thing I did learn is this, is that you go for that integrity. You go for that work ethic. And that's the one thing that I admired about him. And so I'm not going to lie. My personal thoughts and my personal memories with Pastor George were when he passed, I ain't going to lie. It was like losing a father. And those were the type of tears that I cried, because I remember, we were supposed to invite him to our graduation, my best friend Al. And we was like, yo, man, look, we got to get some tickets for Pastor George and Sister Stephanie, and, because they coming to the graduation and everything. And then, he ended up passing before we graduated from school. And I mean, we took it hard. And I remember that long ride to the funeral. I remember the procession. I remember it all like it was yesterday. And I mean, a day doesn't go by when I don't think about Pastor George. A day doesn't go by when I don't think about some of the opportunities, that were afforded to me being a part of Church of the Firstborn and having Pastor George be a part of my life. I remember, the rap group that we had. We first did a rap at the church. Our rap group was formed in Church of the Firstborn. And I remember we rapped on New Year's Eve. We were called Totally Committed. It was me, Mitch, Alfonso, Mark, and Rod. And I mean, it was crazy. And then we had, our DJ doing the beatbox thing. He was Vic. It was crazy. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we was all teenagers, man. But, those are the memories that I have. And so the one thing that I want you guys to understand with this interview is that we're going to delve into the humanity side, because there's always another side to the story. Because if you just know the part as being a member, and you just know the part of being a friend and being an admirer, then you need to see the humanity side. You need to see the human side, because we lost a pastor. But First Lady Hilton, she lost her husband. Her children lost their father. And there's a lot that has to be unpacked with that, because, God does have a way of bringing healing. God does have a way of bringing restoration. And so we want to begin to unfold and unpack, the journey with that. So this is going to be one of those life after episodes. And so, I'm just looking forward to, to hearing from her perspective, because I mean, our age differences are very, not that far apart, but they are far enough. So I'm actually looking forward to doing this interview. So, hey, guys, hold tight as we bring Lauren Hilton to the stage. All right, we're going to call Lauren Hilton right now. Hold tight, guys.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Sister Lauren? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm real good. I was just telling the listeners, giving the backstory about your father and about, how I came to meet him and the opportunity that he afforded the group of guys, our little rap group that we had, group of guys, my friends, and, just telling some of my personal history. So I just want to welcome you to the show, and I just want to say thank you for agreeing to come on.
Oh, thanks for having me. Nobody usually wants to hear what I have to say, so I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm laughing a lot. I am exhausted because I had a really long day today, so you're probably going to get a bunch of giggles out of me. I swear I'm 38 years old, and I don't laugh like I'm 16, but
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. Well, look, I promise we can go as long as you want or go as short as you want.
Cool.
So I'll say that. So I'll just start off with the first question. Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah.
In what sense? My name is Lauren Renee Hilton. I am a 38-year-old mother of three. I have a set of twins. I have a 2-year-old, and pretty much this is my whole entire life right now. But as far as you are concerned with all of this, I'm the daughter of George Hilton and Stephanie Hilton.
Okay.
So yeah.
So let me ask you this. So when did you get born again, and would you refer to yourself as a preacher's kid?
Okay, so the born again thing, kind of weird. I would say when I was 19.
Okay.
It was New Year's Eve, 2001, going in 2002, I think. And instead of going and hanging out with my friends and partying and doing my own thing, out of nowhere, I decided I was going to go to church and get baptized and just give my life to the Lord because I had no idea what else I was doing, which is, again, weird because I am a preacher's kid. And do I refer to myself as that? Yes and no. It depends on who I'm talking with.
Okay.
I do talk to people. Most people in my life and people who know me know that my father was a preacher. And they usually make these horrible jokes about how terrible preachers' daughters are. And I usually laugh along with them because I'm pretty sure I kind of agree sometimes. And not just me, but I actually do know other preachers' kids because I am a preacher's kid.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try not to think of myself as that. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah. I totally get that.
So yeah, I separate myself. I mean, I separate myself from my past life, that I like to call it.
Yeah.
But I want to come into my own. If I'm going to give my life to the Lord, it's going to be on my terms. If I do this, it's not because my dad's a preacher. It's not because of who he was. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So let me ask you this. I know, a lot of us, we saw Pastor George as our pastor. But my question to you is, how was he as a father? How was he as a dad? And your perspective of that.
Okay. So you get two different versions, I guess. My dad passed away when I was 7. Greatest dad ever. He was hilarious. He's funny. He was just everything. So like the light in my life. And that's weird, but it was. He was the greatest person ever. He knew everything and he did everything and he was just everything. And that's how I viewed him, not as a preacher, not as anything, but just as my dad.
Yeah.
As an adult, as a mother, oh my God, that dude was so mature. And I just have to sit back and laugh. I still think that he's the greatest dad ever, but now as an adult, I'm just like, what? It's weird. I mean, I have 1.5 million stories and I'm not going to get into them, but my dad was just always the life of the room, the life of everything, everywhere he went.
Yeah.
And that's including when it was just us. You know?
Yeah, because I remember, you were right. I mean, just hanging around. I remember one time I went to a Bible study. It was a men's group. And my mom, I got back and my mom was like, well, how did you have a nice time? How'd you feel? I was like, man, Mom, I was with Pastor George. I felt like I was with Jesus in them. I'm serious.
That's about right. He always tried to make it a good time and make sure everybody was just in this great place.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, everything. He was great at that. He had the gift of gab. He was a people person, and he was no different when it was just us versus when we were at church. Same man.
Yeah. Yeah. Because my first experience and my last experience riding a horse was with him and Brother Paul Noble. I was like, man, I don't know if this ever happened again, but it ended up happening. I was in my teenage years when that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, first
the horses were fun, weren't they?
they were. They were. I was like, man. I don't know anything about being on a horse. I'm up here, got sneakers on.
Yeah.
but it was one of those memorable times. And one thing I will say, man, with him, it was like he made moments. I mean, he made enjoyable moments, and that's the one thing. That's my takeaway with him being a part of my experience with him. So
listen, every moment with him was a moment. Every moment, his energy, his everything. He made those moments.
Mm-hmm.
He really did.
Exactly. So I totally agree. So let me ask you this. With him being a pastor, what was it like, having to be at church on Sundays and sometimes Wednesdays at times?
You mean all the time? It was Sunday through Sunday for us. It wasn't just everything. It didn't make a difference to me because that was our life.
Okay.
I know that I spent all this time with these people. Mm-hmm. This is what we do. And we were always in worship and we were always in prayer. And when my dad was home, we'd have time together. But then my dad had a radio show, and he was doing this, and he had meetings. And Sunday night was a dinner at a different restaurant. I swear to you, I've eaten at Howard Johnson's about 1,000 times, and that was between the ages of 0 and 7. It was part of life. So to me, it just was life.
Yeah, let me ask you this. Because I remember he used to say that he used to take you guys to Friendly's over in Glen Mills.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. I can't believe you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that because it's been plenty of times I would drive past that place, and I think he said you guys went there so much they had a picture up of you guys, if I'm not mistaken.
That restaurant knew us very well. They knew about the clam chowder with the pepper and the hot dogs that had this really weird grilled buns, and I would eat grilled cheese. Oh God, it was so great. Yeah. Seriously. But yeah, we were there. It was over at Painter's Crossing.
Okay.
Out there, like on Route 1 and 202.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we were there all the time. That was the other place. So we were always at.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember.
They would get the booth and they would separate. They would pull up the little separator thing because a bunch of us in there. And then there were times where it was just my family of 5. And that was always sweet too.
So let me ask you this: what were like the best moments that you guys had outside of church?
Oh, with my dad?
Yeah, with your dad.
Honestly, I'm sorry, my eyes are getting watery. Every moment.
Okay. And
as I could tell you, one of the greatest memories ever was my sister, my dad, and I standing in our living room in Glen Mills and dancing to Run DMC's Christmas song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we were shadow dancing. So the light was coming in the window, and we were it was so much fun because there was no worried about outside life. My dad wasn't running all over the world. It was just us, and it was only a memory with me and my dad and my sister. My brother wasn't there. My mom wasn't there. I mean, they probably were there, but I don't remember that. But I love that memory so much. And it's funny because I have like a picture that I usually post on like Facebook and stuff of me, and I'm winning this award for this horse show that I did. And you'd think that would be my favorite memory. It's not. Mm-hmm. It's actually of me and my sister and my dad. Because it showed my dad is still a person. And it's weird because people look at my dad like, oh, he's a preacher and your dad was the greatest and this, that, and the third. And I respect everything that he's done and everything, but he's my dad.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know, he was my dad.
Yeah.
I shared a lot of time with a lot of congregation, a lot of people, a lot of states, a lot of cities, a lot of churches. And those moments, that's my dad. My dad is the one who talked too much and left me in the car at a cleaner's. So the fact that I threw up, and my mom's probably going to be really mad that I told that story, but I think it's hilarious. Because who does that? He was really a person. And he was just my dad. So like my memories of him, I have a million of them.
Yeah.
But that one right there, because I guess because it incorporates both me and my sister, which makes it that much better and that much more worthwhile. It has to be my favorite.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, because so many people they see the pastor part, but when I did that interview with your mom, my goal was, we got to see him more than just a pastor, because there was more to him than just him being a pastor. He was a man. He was a husband. He was a father. And those are the things that I definitely wanted to bring out then, and also try to bring out now, because it's a totally different perspective when you start looking at it from the other side, when you start looking at it from the family side versus the congregation side.
Yeah. But I will say, at some point in time, there was no difference between the two.
Okay.
The congregation was our family.
Yeah.
And vice versa. That was the life that we had. It was the life that my parents chose. This is our life,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But yes, he did have a definite human side and a person side and a dad side and we're finally relaxing on a Saturday night side.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, and this might be a little tough. How did you and your siblings and your mom navigate, when he passed away? What was that journey like?
We didn't navigate it.
Okay.
But if I'm being really honest, I have no idea if you ask my mom this question, and my answer might be different. I know my mother is going to listen to this at some point in time, and I asked her to. In all honesty, the day that my mom told us that my dad died, we woke up on my parents' bed, and my mom sat down and she told us that our dad had passed away. And of course, at 7, I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
And the thing is, everything changed so fast from that moment that there was no dealing with it. There was nothing. There was everything happening all at once. And it was years. It was years before I even started to think about myself dealing with it. Like, I knew my dad was never coming back. And that's whatever. And I knew that I was torn up about things. But I was 7. So by the time I was 10, I couldn't stand it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like my mom tried. So she tried to make these things better. She tried to make this make sense. She tried with everything, but it's so much deeper than just my dad died. I lost a congregation. I lost my family. I lost my dad's family. We lost so much. It wasn't just my dad died. If he had just died and everybody else and everything else had stayed the same, maybe it would have been different, but it didn't stay the same.
Wow.
None of it.
Wow.
We lost everything and everyone. Everyone that I knew for my whole entire life, everything that we held dear. It wasn't just this man died. I can deal with the fact that my dad died. I can't deal with the fact that my whole family died.
Yeah.
At the same time. So dealing with it, we did what we could. My mom did what she could. Nobody knew what was going to happen next, and everything that happened next, you would never have seen coming.
No, because when she started unpacking everything that happened after he passed, I was like, you have got to be kidding. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was hard to believe. I was like, you got to be kidding. But, and I think the thing that really boggled my mind and really hurt me the most was, but we said that we love them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what hurt the most. And in the midst of that interview, I apologized, to your mom. And I was like, I'm apologizing for the whole church. And I'm asking forgiveness because what transpired afterwards was they didn't deserve that. They deserve better than what they got. And I just couldn't understand how we could admire a man and love a man. And then as soon as he leaves, as soon as he goes on to be with the Lord, we forsake his family and then act like he never existed.
We don't exist.
And that's the part that hurt. And I was like,
oh, you think that hurts you? Listen, I honestly, as a 38-year-old woman, I still have people who come up to me from my past. I've had people, my daughters, my twins, they're now 16, but when they were younger, I started running into people in public places. I went to go buy a car, and a woman actually ran across a car dealership. She started crying in front of me. Oh, my God, I know who you are. And this happened my kids used to hate it because they recognize it. I look exactly like my dad. I look exactly like Lauren from when she was 7. You can't mistake me for anybody else. And these people are like crying their eyes out and they're trying to give you hugs. And I'm looking at, oh, you lost your mind. Mm-hmm. I don't know you. And even if I do know you, I don't know you. Yeah. And I don't trust you even if I do know you. And I can tell you that there are people who, I am very sorry at this age that I cussed you out probably years ago because I was angry. Teenage one was angry. I almost burned down the church angry. Like that kind of angry. Because I couldn't understand how, like you said, you people who love us decide you're going to disappear. I don't care how you feel about my mom. I don't care how you feel about a bunch of things. You left us. Yeah. And this was my family. Yeah. Even my dad's family, who I have issues with, like even my uncle. So the day he died, I don't really know you because you guys all left.
Yeah.
And it's not, it's weird. So I have weird issues with churches and people, and I don't like that. And I really wish that I had done this years ago so people could hear me say, if you ever see me walking down the street and you know it's me, do not get teary-eyed. Do not come to me. Do not hug me. Don't do any of those things. Because I can't with you.
Okay.
I don't feel bad for you. I feel bad for me. It's not in that moment. I should be like, I forgive, but I don't really forgive you. And I know that probably sounds, I'm not a mean person. Mm-hmm. It's just there's a part of my life that is not for everybody else because it hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Let me ask you this. So, when all of that happened, looking at the fact that everybody forsake you guys and that you lost everybody, they was around and then they was loving you and everything like that. Did you and your siblings and your mother really say, hey, we got to depend on each other because that's all we got right now?
That is one good thing out of it. My mom used to say for no more. Mm-hmm. Because it was us. Yeah. And we have been through a lot. Mm-hmm. And I mean a lot. And being younger, I couldn't stand my mom for certain things. And I was angry with everything.
Yeah.
I didn't understand. But I understand now. I'm somebody else's mom and I get it and I'm older, so it's whatever. But it was like, screw this, we got to stick together. My sister cares for my brother. My mom works really hard. I'm the fighter. So, like, anybody want to mess with my family, we got this, or I got this.
Yeah.
That's just me. But we stuck together. We made it work,
Yeah.
As best as we could, even with the ridiculousness, even with the situations we've been through, even at our worst and our lowest. When I say lowest, I mean lowest. It was still us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I don't really have, and I know it sounds weird, but I don't have a memory of the 5 of us. My brother is so young. My life wasn't like that. I have more memories and probably greater memories of the 4 of us, me, my mother, my sister, and my brother, mm-hmm. Than I do that because we had to stick together.
Yeah.
Even when we don't like each other, we still have to stick together because it's like, who else is going to do this? Who else is going to take care of us? Who else is going to be here with us? because we were so abandoned, it brought us all together, even when we didn't want to be there. Yeah. And as dumb as it sounds, and even with all the arguments we've ever had and everything we've ever been through, we all know that this is us. So there is never a reason to walk away and say, we're never going to do this ever again, or I don't want to talk to you ever again. And we won't abandon each other. We don't abandon families. We don't do this because this is all we have. So all those things made it greater because we stuck together, even when we didn't want to.
Yeah. Well, that's the one thing that I'm glad about, that you guys, you guys stuck together and then, really didn't put a wedge. It said, if anything, it solidified you guys. So let me ask you this, and this is another tough question. How did you view Church of the Firstborn after your father passed, and also, growing up, getting older, going into your teenage years, your formative years, and then looking at the transition from Church of the Firstborn, going from your father, Pastor George, and then over to another pastor, and then they, eventually changed the name of the church. How was your view then?
I'm glad they changed the name of the church, because that church is completely dead to me. Okay. It's not the same thing. It never was the same thing. And like I hinted at before, my best friend's name is Kiana.
Yeah.
She's been here with me. I met them with Paula and all these people at the church. So these are my church friends. Kiana and I are still really good friends. She was over here 3 weeks ago for my daughter's birthday. She has daughters, whatever. I used to tell her when we were teenagers, because, she went to my dad's church. Her mom used to watch me and my siblings and everything. They actually stuck with us. And that is my best friend for life. It doesn't matter what happens. She sat with me the day of my dad's funeral. And that girl has always stuck by my side. But if you ask her, I wanted to actually burn it down. I didn't want anybody to have that name anymore. I didn't want anything to do with that church. That church didn't exist the day my dad died. To me, that church no longer existed and shouldn't have. And then after what happened with my mom, it definitely shouldn't have. I'm glad they changed the name of it. There's a horn that's floating around somewhere that I still want. I'm probably never going to get. But 18-year-old Lauren definitely wanted it.
Yeah.
But I just let it go. Mm-hmm. Like, let all of it go. Because it wasn't the same thing. After he passed away, everything changed. The people changed. Everything changed. It no longer was that. So whether or not you change it, change the name and let us go and let it go, because it's not the same thing. And what I thought wasn't anymore. So I have absolutely the name of the church, that church itself, is nothing but a memory to me.
Okay.
A memory of something good. Whatever it was thereafter I don't care.
Okay. All right. So fast forward, what's life for you like now?
Right now?
Yeah.
I have 16-year-old twins, and I have my 2-year-old, and I have my Tyree, and we have our house, and I am a housewife. Yay, but I'm not really a housewife. But like I'm home. I'm home with the kids. Yeah. I am doing my artwork. Life has gone through many ups and downs for me in the past few years. I thank God for my life. I thank God for Tyree. I thank God for my daughters, all 3 of them. And the last one took forever to even get here, but I thank God for all of these things, because I can tell you right now, it is not perfect, but I am happy, and I am happier. I actually have everything that I wanted. And it took a lot of things to go. I went through a lot of things to get to this point, and I can honestly tell you where I'm standing. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
For everything,
yeah.
And it's not perfect, and I don't expect it to be perfect. It never will be perfect. I don't even know what perfect means, but it's mine. And it's my life, and it's my choice, and it's my everything else. And teenagers are tough. I'm not having fun with that. I do not like teenagers. I can't wait till my kids are in their 20s, and then I'll probably have to go through it again with the youngest. But it's part of life. Yeah. And I'm living it, and I'm here with my daughters, and I'm older than my father right now. So like, let's live every single moment, good or bad, whatever. And my family has been through things, and I'm just thankful to be here, dude.
Yeah. So let me ask you,
honestly,
because you said that your sister is the oldest, Gretchen, and then you have your brother. Georgie.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this: who you think got away with more stuff?
Me.
You got away with more stuff?
Yeah. It is terrible. Oh, wait. What do you mean got away with? You mean got caught? Or you mean actually it was caught. Like, it's okay.
Or like, you know.
Oh, didn't get caught?
Yeah, didn't get caught. And then also the fact of, Mom, how come you catching me on this? You calling me on that, but then Lauren does this and you don't say nothing. Because it's all you always
who
got
didn't get caught?
You always got
who didn't get caught was probably my sister is terrible. She always gets caught. It's not her. My brother he's not interesting enough to get caught doing anything. Mm-hmm. And I guess it would be me.
Okay.
I'm so serious. But I'm the one who probably got away with the most. My brother is probably the most loved because he had like 3 moms instead of having 1 mom. He had my sister and myself, and my sister and myself also. So like, he was the baby. So he got away with pretty much everything. He got the everything because we all took him in as, I'm going to do this. My sister's going to do this. My mom's going to do this. So like, he's a baby. He can do no wrong.
Yeah,
exactly. He's a jerk and I love him, but he can do no wrong.
Yeah.
You know? But as far as getting away with stuff, it was probably me, which I will not tell everything that I did. But
okay, no, I ain't looking for that.
I'm sure it was me.
So let me ask you this: has being like a preacher's kid, has it kind of like defined, you know, during your dating years? Did it define your dating and some of your relationships?
I told my mom. I was talking to my mom about this before you called, and I was looking at some questions, and the guy that I was I've known for 14 years. Mm-hmm. He doesn't have a religious background whatsoever. Okay. As a matter of fact, we will go back and forth about how he thinks that preachers are shysters and all those other things. And he's not the first person I've had this conversation with, and I will defend it to the end. Like, okay, so they're not supposed to get paid, but they're not priests. They're preachers. There's a difference, and I will defend it because I am a preacher's kid. Okay. I have moments. I have my own relationship with God. Yeah. I have moments where I'm just looking at tired. And we can get really deep because one of your questions that you sent me was about going into the ministry and how I feel about that. Yeah. So let's make this a whole answer. I have thought about that, and I've thought about the man that I am with, mm-hmm. who I love, who has been my dad on rock for 19 years, and he's not there. And I can't ever make him be there. Yeah. His religious views are his choice. Yeah. And I don't fault him for them. He can't make me not believe in God, and I'm not trying to push God onto him. I'm not trying to push religion onto him. I'm not trying to push how he should live onto him. Yeah. It's his life. And that's how I feel about most people and everything. For me, would I like that? I don't know, because of my conversations with God, where it's like, I feel like I should be doing this. I've let a lot of people secretly, it's a secret, but now everybody who listens to this one knows this, but a lot of people to the Lord.
Okay. I
have done a lot of things, and people like talking to me. They say I make them feel better. Mm-hmm. And I talk about God for days. I tell everybody the love of God, the love of Jesus, how he embraces you, how it's amazing how God has kept me through so many things and how good God is. I am that person. Am I ready to have that whole life? I keep telling God, not yet. I'm not there. And it sounds terrible, but I'm like, I can't. I like rap music, and I want to do this, and I want to do that. I don't even like rap music, which is really funny. It used to be one of my excuses. I've given God every reason, but he still uses me in his own way and puts me in situations where I find myself helping people. Yeah. I have had a lot of people, and they're like, you're so good with this. And some of the people are like, oh, you're just like your dad. Please don't say that. I'm nothing like that, man. I am a terrible, great person. And I keep saying I'm not ready. But when it comes to like relationships and stuff, could I ever do that with Tyree as he is? I don't think so. I don't think that two of them mesh. So it's like a choice. If God ever plucked me in the back of my head, which I'm sure he probably has and probably will, I don't know. I might hear about this later, but then it has to. But as of right now, I let people be themselves. Yeah. even if that was my life and Tyree wasn't into it, and this is what I really wanted to do, and it was in my heart to do completely, he's himself. My Asian Amaya's father, not Tyree, their father, I refer to him as Satan because that boy has some issues, and that's mean. I know, but like, he was not the greatest person ever. But again, his life is his life. He tried to take God from me. And that's why I call him Satan. He really did. He tried to take God from me, to show me, well, God's done this, and this is where you are, and blah, blah, blah. I swear to you, I have seen the devil face to face so many times, and it's still not giving up.
Yeah.
It's not perfect. My life isn't perfect at all.
Yeah.
But, and trust me, the devil knows, he knows my name, I know his name, and I'll sit there and laugh. God is still my rock.
Yeah.
But I let people be who they are. You know, so as far as dating, I don't really date because I've been with the same person for 14 years.
Okay.
Yes. Do I wish Tyree will go to church with me at some point in time? Yes, I do. Do I go to church? No, I don't. But if I did, I would like him for him to come with me. Mm-hmm. But I'm not here to force you because I honestly believe that you giving your life to the Lord, you doing this, it is your choice. If I make you do this, then it wasn't your choice and it's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll never turn a person. But I also won't be like, if you're sitting here worshiping the devil seriously, like, no, we're never going to date. So as far as life is concerned, I'm not as uptight about it because I've been on both sides. I've gotten that, I've gone at it. And I've been like, well, screw this because you promised these things. He didn't promise me anything. I'm lucky I'm here today.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it was like, you killed my dad and this, that, and the third, and all these things happen. And you want to know something? At 38 years old, I realized it was a blessing because I would not be able to help the people that can help if I hadn't gone through the things that I had gone through.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love my dad. And when I found out about my dad's past and the things that he did when he was younger before he gave his life to the Lord, I have a tattoo on my shoulder. This is Gino. Because I connected more with that because of where I was in life. Mm-hmm. Than the religious side of my dad and everything else.
Yeah.
I needed to go through that. I needed to go through everything. But to bring it back, because I talk a lot, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's fine.
As far as like dating, I'm dating the same person. I'll let you know if I ever stop dating him and start dating somebody else. But as of right now, and to each other be with your beliefs are your beliefs. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. I sit down and kneel and I pray. And I pray. As a mother, I pray. As a woman, I pray. As in everything, I pray. Yeah. If Tyree prays or not, that's on him. At the end of the day, when I'm standing in front of the Lord and he asks me what I've done, has nothing to do with Tyree.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I do love him and I do care. Yeah. I'm not going to force it. If you're going to do this, you're going to do it on your own. Not because I told you to.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's what it comes down to, because like you said, if it's forced, then, you know, you won't have no feeling.
It's meaningless.
It's meaningless, like you said. And it has to be a choice, because with a choice, you can develop conviction around it. You know what I mean? And
mm-hmm.
So yeah. So I totally get you on that. So I want to ask you about your mom. What's one of the fondest memories that you have with her?
I have spent 24 hours thinking about that. Not even 24 hours. And I called my mom and I told her, I was like, he wants to know what my fondest memory of you is. And I said it was hard for me to choose one, but I did. Mm-hmm. My mother and I, when I was a teenager, my sister was a jerk. I love you, Gretchen, if you ever listen to this. She was a jerk. My brother's a jerk. Whatever. My mom was going through it. You have 3 kids. 2 of them are teenagers. 1 of them is in middle school. A lot of stuff is going on. My mom and I used to do things together. We used to walk together, and we would walk uptown because she wanted to lose weight. And I was a cheerleader, and it was like, hey, I'm all about fitness, which is really funny because I'm definitely not about fitness, even though Tyree is definitely a trainer. Doesn't matter. The point is, like, I would walk uptown with her or whatever. But I think my favorite memory of my mom is definitely going to go see Empire Strikes Back with her in 1999, I think, or maybe 2000, whenever it came back out in the movie theaters.
Okay.
Because I grew up, my parents are Star Wars fans. We are a Star Wars family. We believe, listen, if God didn't exist and there was only Jedi, we'd probably be Jedi. Like, we are a Star Wars family. I don't know if anybody knows it about my dad, but we definitely, this was us. I know every single word to the first 3 movies by heart. You could start at any point in time and I could run the whole entire movie to you. That's how much we watched it.
Wow.
So, and to have memories of my dad and to think about my parents going to go see his movies and whatever else, to actually share that in the movie theater with my mom. Just me and her. Yeah. Mind you, not with my siblings, and not a bad time, not a whatever else. My mom's like, hey, I have nothing to do. You want to go to the movies? And I'm like, sure. And no, was it Empire Strikes Back? No, I think it was the original Star Wars. Because it wasn't Return of the Jedi. She doesn't like Return of the Jedi. Okay. Thing is, it was the first Star Wars. Because when the Death Star blew up, God, Tyree's probably like, why is she talking about Star Wars? I'm a whole geek. When the Death Star blew up, it was like, yeah! But I shared this moment with my mother, who had told me these stories about my father and her and all these other things, and I wanted to connect with that. But it was so cool because she had asked my siblings.
Yeah.
She asked me to go.
Yeah.
And that was really great at the end of the day because I enjoyed those moments I had with just her. There's 3 of us. Mm-hmm. And I know that mommy and me time doesn't really happen that often when you have 3 kids. I have 3 kids. I spend all my day with the 2-year-old. The twins are just like, are you serious, Mom? You can when you can. And, that for me was really great. Also, the time that we went and saw the midnight show to see Revenge of the Sith a few years later with Gretchen. That was pretty awesome, too. I was so tired, but it was great. And that's really weird that my fondest memories have to do with Star Wars, but, it is what it is.
Well, you know what? I never knew that your father liked Star Wars. I mean, because it was.
Are you kidding me?
No, I didn't.
Star Wars is life.
Yeah, well, see, it wasn't. It wasn't like we didn't hear that, or maybe I might have didn't pay attention to it if he mentioned it in service or something.
Nah, actually, I don't think he ever brought it up at church.
Okay,
to be honest.
That's why.
But on the weekends when my dad wasn't busy doing things, we were watching, especially Empire Strikes Back. Which, when I was younger, I did not think that was the best movie ever. As an adult, that is the best movie ever. Oh, when he says, I'm your father, yes. I don't care how many times I will see it. I still get chills because this is what we grew up doing. This was my family. We watched a lot of things on the weekends. Like I saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure. You probably wouldn't think that I would have known about that movie, but I definitely did. My dad used to breed Brer Rabbit to us and do all types of things. So yeah, Star Wars is a Hilton family staple. If you ask all of us, all 4 of us, what the one thing that we all have in common is definitely Star Wars. Okay. And it is definitely a whole thing behind it because it was that important to my parents.
Wow.
And it was with Star Wars every weekend. I've seen my grandmother even is like, she goes, that's so weird that you guys all know every single word to that movie. Mm. It was every weekend. And I mean, we were always in church, but when we weren't in church, we were watching Star Wars.
Yeah. So I guess you're probably enjoying The Mandalorian right about now.
Oh my gosh, yes. But let me say this, and I'm going to geek off for a second. I do not like the 7, 8, and 9 I don't even know. And even the prequels, I actually did like the prequels. I'm the original Star Wars fan. I don't really like the prequels or the sequels.
Yeah.
I like the originals. The last movies I really wish they weren't canon, but The Mandalorian is freaking awesome. I love it. And Baby Yoda is so freaking cute. And I think that Zara is Baby Yoda. Zara is my youngest daughter. For anybody who doesn't know this, my youngest name is Zara. Okay. And she is Baby Yoda to me. She's 2. And she is like the cutest thing ever. And I just want to squeeze her and hug her and everything. That's how I felt about Baby Yoda. But I love Zara more, clearly. But yeah.
Wow, that's great. So let me ask you this. I want to ask you another question about your mom. Your mom bore a lot, and then, what was life like just watching your mom, go through what she went through, with the passing of your father, and then, the issue with the church, and I mean having to view that, and then she still comes out on the other side, still hopeful, and and everything and still loving it. Because at one point I was like, wow, man, I am so amazed that she wasn't bitter. And that's the thing that boggles me. You know what I mean? Because, you know, some things will make people bitter, but I didn't see that with your mom. She wasn't bitter at no point. I think the thing that I saw with her was she was just thankful and she was grateful to God. She still loved God. There was some questions and everything like that. But let me ask you this, you know, looking at everything that she went through, you know, what was that like watching her journey and see her come out on the other side?
It was painful.
Okay.
Because one of the strongest people I've ever met my whole entire life, one of the greatest people ever, I would not survive now if it wasn't for her. Mm-hmm. And watching her struggle, like, sorry, I'm really teary-eyed. I love that woman. I can't stand her sometimes, but I love her. Yeah. To be hurt in so many ways. To be hurt and still take us to Disney World and pretend like everything's okay when everything's not okay. And then to just go off and just be like, I have no idea what I'm doing because I've lost everybody and everything and I have no idea what I'm doing. And watching that and watching her fluctuate between this, that, and the third. And then just one day be like, you know, screw this, screw you guys, screw everything. And it sounds bad. I just want this lady to be happy. And it's crazy because it's like a situation took one of the strongest women that I've ever met my whole entire life and brought her down to probably nothing, but she still acted like it didn't matter. I've seen my mom do amazing things. I remember growing up and being like, if I fail, I'm going to fail. I'll never be like you because you have done so many things. You have kept us. You have kept us above water. You have kept us safe. You are amazing. We had nothing and we lost everything. And for her to still stand there and feel like, you know what? Screw this. I got this. You want to go have some fun? What? I could never. And I guess I have, and I learned a lot from her. But it makes me angry because it's not fair. If I had to pick a person, I wouldn't pick my worst enemy to have anything that happened with her happen to her. Like, come on. I wouldn't have it happen to anybody.
Yeah.
But she learned that a lot. And it was painful. And I don't know whether or not my mom is actually happy or if she's just going through the motions and dealing with life like we do. And I think that I wouldn't be able to go through the motions and go through the waves with life if she didn't teach me how to. But it was hard, and I was so angry for her. I was angry for her. I'm not the one that you mess with in my family. Mm-hmm. I never am. And if I could pick one thing that I'm angry about, it wouldn't even be that my dad died, because that's whatever. It was my mother's life that I'm angry about, because that's not fair. My mom was just everything, and she's so freaking perfect, and it was just whatever. She's nuts, you know. And I just think my mom was so mean, and she's so serious, and she's so strict. And to watch everything, and to be an adult, and to go through everything, it's just like, I appreciate you so much, you know. Yeah. But it was hard, and it is hard, and if I could fix everything, I would just bring my dad back, and that would be just fine. I'd still keep my life, bring him back, because that was hard for her. And then everything else was hard for her. And watching this was hard, and it was hard for us. And I think that my siblings and I tried to protect my mom. We tried to make her some type of happy, because she lost everything. Yeah. And I am so sorry. I am more sorry for her than I am for us, because we had a great mom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She was, I mean, she still is. I mean, when I did the interview with her and, you know, she put to rest a whole lot of controversy and a whole lot of rumors. I was just like, I was blown away, because, you know, at the end of the day, I'm like, wow, man, she is the epitome of resurrection and comebacks, because I look at it like, wow, I mean, and she was giving information and revelation on how to be a successful, first lady. And I'm like, I enjoy the fact that she didn't allow the events that happened with her, the things that happened with her that were very tragic, to take it and shape and mold her.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
My mom is a strong woman.
Yeah, she is.
And she will never let you see when she does fall. So it doesn't really matter. I see things that we see things that you guys don't see.
Yeah.
But that's her greatness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And that's the one thing.
You got to respect it.
Yeah, hey, I respect it. I totally respect it. And I told her, I said, thank you. Thank you for saying yes to God. Thank you for sharing your husband with us and everything. Thank you. So I getting ready to go into another subject. So let me ask you this. In light of the way that you were raised and in light of this generation, how are you seeing racism and COVID right now? I mean, because every generation sees it differently.
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not. I grew up in white schools with white people.
Yeah,
I hated it. We went to private school. We went through everything, and black people couldn't stand me because it taught me I'm white, which I think is a whole nother subject that one day we might talk about. But
oh yeah,
guys, okay. I do believe that racism is there. I've always seen it. With COVID, I think there are dumb people out there. I'm really doing this without cursing. I'm sorry. I actually curse a lot, and I'm apologizing to you, and I haven't said anything wrong.
No, it's cool, because trust and believe, I curse on this show sometimes, so hey.
Okay. No, you don't want that. I will be the next person. I think there's a lot of people out there that are just stupid. There are stupid people. I think for the past 4 years of my life have proved that there are stupid people the past however many months that we've been stuck in the house. I keep my children in the house, although right now my one daughter is out hanging out with her friends because it's very hard on them. Mm-hmm. And I don't want her to be miserable. She's already going through a lot. They're already going through a lot. And so it's like, yeah, you can hang out with your friends. We have certain friends we hang out with or whatever. This country is on fire. Yeah. And it should be. It honestly should be. Things are wrong. I have had jobs where I am great and I make a whole lot of money and I do this, and people are still racist and you still treat me like hell. You know how smart I am. You know how talented I am, and you're still treating me like this because I'm a black woman.
Yeah.
You have those situations. They do exist. My daughters are 16. I'm trying to explain this in the nicest way possible that, yeah, you guys grow up and you go to white schools, but here's the deal. They will not be your friends at some point in time, and it's really sad. As far as COVID is concerned, oh, God. Those are two completely different stories, whereas I think everybody's stupid. I really honestly think that human nature is just dumb. There are people who are dumb. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, white people are dumb, even though, yes, I want to say it sometimes. I really do. I am not going to say that because one of my best friends is white and she's amazing. But, it's like herd mentality and just stupidity, and it's bigotry, it's racism, it's everything from way back in the day. And all these people, because the same people who are running around like, I'm not going to wear a mask ever, and I'm not going to do this, that, and the third, are the same people who are racist. And does anybody else see the connection? Because I do, because they were all raised the same, and it's really terrible. And I think over the past few months, it's like, if you want to go out and get yourself sick, that's fine. Don't wear a mask. Don't do this. Be racist. Be all these things. I hope that you are held accountable for both of those things. Yeah. For not wearing a mask and for being racist. For calling the cops on a black man just walking through a park during the day, or for just going to a rally and decided that you're going to cough on everybody because this isn't really real. They're both the same kind of stupid, and got to recognize his own. And that sounds really mean, but I really do actually mean that. I don't know what to tell you. I can't change stupidity. And both of those things are stupidity, Yeah. I can't change that. But I will sit here and stand up for everything else, because your stupidity doesn't mean that everybody is stupid. I take everybody case by case.
Yeah.
Stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for Black lives. Stand up because people are still racist. Stand up because corporate America still does not recognize Black women as probably the backbone of a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
Trust me.
They saw that this election. Oh, my
God. They did. And they should. I have a Black mother. I am a Black woman. My kids will tell you that I will fight for anything, and I will fight harder than anybody else. And no, just like my mother will, just like my sister will. My sister's out there protesting. My mother is a strong Black woman. My grandmother did her thing back in the day, and I won't let her out the house because I don't want her to get sick. Mm-hmm. But this is us, and fight it. Breonna Taylor, oh my God, all the dude, these things, but they've been going on for years. They've been going on for years. In my generation, I had to fight for a raise one time when I did more work than this white dude did. He got the same raise as me, and I thought that was so unfair, but that's part of this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not only as being racist, but as being sexist.
Yeah.
I am not making more than he does, but I do more work than he does. Mm-hmm. And I take care of this more so than he does. And what the heck is going on? There are so many things to fight for right now. I think that the top of the list is COVID, because I want my babies to be able to go back out. They need to go back to school. Yeah. I think this place needs to be shut down. I don't care. And I'm saying I don't care. I live in a great house, and I have a great man, and we have a great life, and we are taken care of. We are fine. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are struggling, and I know that if I didn't have Tyree, we would probably be struggling too. Well, because I'm home with the kids. But I'm not saying shut the country down completely, but shut it down. Because there is no future if you guys don't do something. And now I think everybody's going to get all relaxed now because there's supposedly a vaccine and whatever else.
Yeah.
You can't get relaxed. No, Donald Trump is crazy. All of these things are nuts. We need to keep fighting. Everybody needs to keep moving forward. I think that everybody is going in the right direction, but I think that we need to handle the part where everybody's going, people are going to die from the first thing, then we handle the second thing. I think there's an order of business, and I don't think racism is on top. I think COVID's on top.
Yeah.
Because it's killing people. Not that racism isn't killing people, but seriously, take care of that, but don't stop marching. Don't start protesting. Don't stop doing any of those other things. Keep going.
Yeah.
Make the changes because they need to be made.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think the thing is that I tell people, I'm like, look, you got to see racism as a team sport. And the reason why I say racism is a team sport is because it will take anybody, Black, white, Hispanic, whoever. Because there are a lot of people, they may have Black skin, but that soul is white supremacist. And I say that, and a lot of people, they disagree with me. I'm like, well, look, hey, just look out here. You can see it for yourself. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that is what we have to do. We have to come together and fight as a team, be unified as a team, because if not, we're going to die by default.
Buddy. But getting them to be a team sometimes seems to be very hard, and I don't understand why. That's the part that I don't get.
Yeah, I think the thing is that when it comes to us, there's still a lot of fear. And then, you still have dealing with the effects of Black codes, dealing with the effects of Jim Crow, the effects of slavery. Because I look at it, when you look at every other race, every other community, rather. When you look at every other community, they can come together. But with us, it just seems like we always have a hard time. And then when we do come together, something always comes in to mess it up. Either somebody...
Tyree always makes these comments. I told her I went to a bunch of white schools, and I ended up transferring private school to public school. Okay, fine. I really need everybody to come together. I really hate when people say to me, "Oh God, you sound white. What are you mixed with? What is this? What is that?" We are all Black people. I'm sorry, but we need to come together and do these things. And I don't want to see the fighting amongst groups. I actually have enjoyed the past few months, which sounds terrible in its own right, but seeing everybody come together. It doesn't matter if I sound like a white girl. You can call me a white girl all day, but I do think that some people have overlooked those things, and that's a great thing.
Yeah.
But there's more that can be done with that. you know, and stop fighting each other and stop being this. Crime hasn't gone down. These things haven't gone down. It's just that something else took over the news.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
But, yeah. Oh, you know who you should talk to about this, though? Honestly, my sister. I don't know if you ever will.
Oh, yeah.
But you should.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Her opinion is much better than mine.
Uh-huh.
I am the thing, but she is definitely the activist who you should talk to about this.
Yeah, I got her picture on one of my episodes. Because I love that picture of her with the Black Lives Matter on, and she got the fist up.
Mm-hmm.
I got that picture.
Listen, I'm home with the kids, and my sister's out there protesting, and it's not a knock on me, but those are the two different lives that she and I both have. She is all for it. She is for movement. She is very intelligent, and she could tell you everything that she possibly could ever think or ever need to know or ever need to understand.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll convince her to talk to you, but
yeah, please.
If I can, as long as you don't talk about church.
Okay.
I don't think she's going to talk about that.
All right.
But yeah, I feel like the whole country needs to come together. I think that was Joe Biden winning. Talk about prayer.
Yeah.
You talk about praying. You talk about when you hear something like thanking God because I'm scared for my nephews. I don't have any sons. I have daughters.
Yeah.
I still worry about when my daughter goes out, like we're King of Prussia area. My daughter goes out in King of Prussia. You're still a black woman. I need you to understand you're still African American. You're still running around. You can't be pool hopping at nighttime. It's just not going to happen. And not that she's just pool hopping. But you see what I'm saying? Like, I still have to worry. But Van Jones I was watching CNN and Van Jones came on and he started crying. And I started crying with him. Mm-hmm. Because I get that. I get that feeling of relief that this person won and the race is like God and Trump and spreading the hatred.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God, my 2-year-old has more manners and more integrity than that man has. Let me tell you. My 2-year-old knows when she's hurt somebody. Or she's not that selfish. She's not whatever. And she doesn't even know. She don't care what you are. This person, you're supposed to be a leader and you're not. You know, and you're sitting here and you're spreading hate at China flu. Dude, sorry, if I could curse that much, I would be cursing right now. I'm really trying.
No, trust me, I get you. I think the thing that got me with Van Jones is he said, man, we haven't been able to breathe for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm like, that right
Dude,
there.
did you watch that? I was just like, oh my Lord, yes. And I felt that. I felt that. I felt that to the point that my kids were staring at me and I am in tears. I was watching on my phone. Mm-hmm. Tears. Because that's how I feel. I have nephews. My nephews go out and I have a light-skinned nephew, I have a brown-skinned nephew. And I got to worry about both of y'all as black men.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to worry about my daughters as black women. Exactly. I got to worry about all these things. And, oh, God, when Trump won, my daughters cried. They didn't want to go to school because there were so many Trump supporters in Upper Marion Township that it wasn't even funny. And I didn't want them. I was scared for them.
Yeah.
One of the really good friends, one of the really good white friends, because this is all this there, is saying, nigga this and nigga that. Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh,
you lost your, and this little kid, I really like this little kid up until this moment. Mm-hmm. It's separating so many things. And this man who spread hatred, I remember them calling like Obama the Antichrist.
Oh, yeah.
No. This dude, though, the current president.
Yeah.
Sorry, but that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think probably the thing that boggles me the most, I'm trying to wrap my head how a black person could support President Trump.
Do you feel like there are a ton of black men out there that are supporting Trump?
I know, and that's what boggles me.
How?
How?
And it's like Biden and Kamala Harris said that black women are the ones who ran this thing because we're trying to protect you all. Y'all are idiots, not you guys, not you personally, but like all those women out there. And I don't understand. Do you not love anybody and does nobody love you? What's going on here? Do you not have a home? Do you not have values? Do you not care about your past? Do you not care about your future?
Well, yeah, their excuse is, well, when Kamala Harris was an attorney, she put a lot of black men in jail. I'm like, The laws put a whole lot of black men in jail. The school to prison pipeline put a whole lot of black men in jail.
A lot of black men put themselves in jail also. Yeah. And I'm going to say that, and I'm not saying that they all deserve the time that they got, but a lot of them did. You should not have done this. If you did not do this, you wouldn't be worried about this.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you can say whatever you want to. A judge can say whatever they want to, and they can give you however much time they want to. You shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, exactly.
And take it from the line, who knows? You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then a lot of people say, well, man, he got people out of prison. I was like, well, how many black people has he appointed as judge? That's my question.
Right. And he actually doesn't care about you guys. Well, God, if you can sit here and talk about Chinese people or Mexican people, he definitely doesn't care about you, black person. Like, what are you? What do you think? He's partial racist?
Yeah.
There's no partial racism. Trust me, if you don't like this, you probably don't like anything. That's not you.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Because I told people, I'm like, how are you laughing? How are you laughing when he says that about the Chinese?
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
It's sad.
Yeah,
and all those Chinese people who got attacked because of this. So you're upset when white people attack black people, but you're cool with it when they attack Chinese people. Or when he talked about the different senators that won told them they need to go back to their country.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that okay?
Exactly.
Was that okay? Because it wasn't okay. Because if that was your mom or that was your sister, you wouldn't be okay with it.
Exactly. And
or would you?
Like, what happens when it's us? And that's why I stopped watching Kenneth Copeland, because he had Michelle Bachmann on.
I am so glad you brought him up. I am so glad. Because let me explain something to you.
Go ahead.
I thought about my dad so much this week because I know my dad really loved Kenneth Copeland. And I know that this is part of his inspiration. And when I saw that man on there talking about, he said that Biden was president, ha, 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 you look possessed and you look like you need Jesus and somebody needs to lay their hands on you. Yeah. I don't know what the heck is going on. I worried about my father, which is really funny because this is like the weirdest situation ever. He's not even here. Mm-hmm. But I had to wonder, what would my dad think right now watching this? Because I'm watching this and I grew up listening to Kenneth Copeland. Let me tell you. Yeah. And no, I do not agree with anything. All right, you got a $6 million jet, and I understand how politics works, and I understand how money works, and I understand how certain things work. But that right there, you lost me. And he lost me years ago, but you really lost me now. And I'm so glad my dad is not here to see this. You are the first person ever, Kenneth Copeland, to make me glad my father is dead. The first person ever. Wow. Because that man actually did follow you and did care, and then you showed your ass. I'm sorry, I cursed.
No, that's all right. I was going to say
but you too. Definitely just showed your ass. I grew up listening to this man, and to listen to this bigot hatred, stuff spewing out of your mouth. What?
Yeah.
What? Where am I?
Yeah.
And then it's like all these people that I grew up watching and paying attention to, and all of, and especially Ken. I'm so glad you brought that up because even today I was watching something and I was like, Jesus, where are you? Mm-hmm. Where is he? I thought you were a man of God, a man of love, a man of something, and this right here, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Have you lost your? And I want to talk to my dad. I want to be like, dude, do you see this?
Oh, yeah.
Are you watching?
Yeah.
I wish my dad was still here because I'd be his PR person. Like, do not ever say that man's name ever again.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Like, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
But I watched it, and it actually broke my heart to listen to some of the things that Kenneth Copeland has said.
Yeah.
And it's to watch some of the things he's done. To watch the fact that you're not helping anybody except for yourself. I don't feel like my family's ministry, had it gone past my dad's death, would have been that same way. Mm-hmm. And if it did, then God, let it burn, then fine, forget it. But that man, I got to pray for him. And it is something. If Lauren Hilton prays for you, there's something wrong with you. Wow. No, if I take my time to a person I don't know and I've never met, I don't know what this is, but every person that's sitting in this congregation right now, and I'm sitting here staring at you like you're following this fool. Don't follow this fool. You're supposed to follow God, not this man. Yeah. And I just can't. And it's funny because I almost said it to my mom earlier today, because sometimes when you talk about these things, I'm so glad you brought that up.
Oh yeah.
My
Let me ask
God.
you this: what you think about Paula White? Because they made a meme out. They made a remix out of her. I mean, and strike and strike and strike. Angels from Africa, angels from South America. I'm like,
when I see these things, let me tell you, when I see these things, thank you, Jesus. My dad is not here to see this because I don't even know what we would talk about at this point because this is what we did in the 80s. Yeah. Who are these people and what is going on? And God doesn't work like that. What are you doing? And does anybody else realize that this isn't God anymore? I need you to understand that there is a fine line. And there is a fine line that people get to when it's not God anymore.
Yeah.
It's not. And I am not the greatest fan of Christians. I will tell you that right now. Because like I said, I've been through a lot. And y'all left me, not you personally. I'm sorry. Don't take it that way. No, I see these things. I don't want to offend anybody. For the people who did leave me, I don't know where your love or where your heart was. And that's not Christian-like of you. Me, at the end of the day, even when I can't stand people, I'm still nice to them and I still love them and I still make sure they're okay because this is me. This is love. This is God. This is how I feel God works through people. And when you shut people off and when you whatever else, I don't think that's God anymore. But looking at this Christian people, when you see this person and they're making memes of them and they're talking like they lost their minds because they have, when they're spewing hatred, when they're cutting off groups of people, when they are not standing there and they are not loving their neighbors or not taking care of people, when they are not doing any of these things, this is that moment when you say, okay, enough is enough and you got to walk away from that person. That's when, if you still follow this person, you're not following God, you're following that person. Exactly. And the one thing that frustrated me the most about people in my dad's congregation is I always have to ask this question, were you following God or were you following him? Yeah. And my dad was great. Were you following my dad at the end of the day, or were you following actual God? Because if you were, I don't think that things would have ended up the way they did. But whatever. But I feel that way about all of these preachers. Mm-hmm. And there's so many of them who've gone down, and you got to follow because you think that they're the end all and be all. You need to think for yourself. You need to think as a loving human being, as a person, not following any of these people. What do you actually think? What do you actually think? You know how they had those bracelets for a long time? What would Jesus do? Yeah. Honestly, what would Jesus do? Honestly. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people ask themselves that question. Exactly. Ever.
Exactly.
You know, and it bothers me so much. And it's funny because that's how I feel about religion. I love God and I have my moments and I ask for forgiveness a lot. Because I curse a lot and I do a lot. A lot. I ask for forgiveness.
I'm in the same boat with you.
But there is nothing that makes you people who swear to beans or holier than thou any better than me, who has probably done everything at least twice and not been sorry about it until I was sorry about it. But like, what separates me and you? What makes you better? And if you are a real Christian person, there is no part of you that feels as though you are better than another person.
Yeah, exactly.
Ever. We are all sinners at the end of the day.
Exactly.
We have all sinned. We all need to come before the glory of God and ask for forgiveness. Honestly.
Exactly.
I am not beneath you. You're not beneath me. And none of you are beneath anybody else. And guess what? Jesus said, I will love my neighbor. I don't got to like you, though. Yeah. I will tell you that much. There is nothing in the Bible, and I've read the Bible several times. This says I have to like you. I will love you, though. But if you don't show me love back and you call yourself a Christian, I will stub my nose at you for a second and ask for forgiveness for you, not for me. Yeah. But for all these fake evangelists, oh, God, people praying in tongues and the people who are doing all these things, and I think about my dad, I'm just like, my dad was a smart person. Mm-hmm. He was a great man, and I would hope that he wouldn't have fallen where these people have.
No, I think your dad, because there
I think he would have been progressive.
I think your dad probably would have went on the side with Fred Price, because when Fred Price started to expose those guys, they tried to shut him down because he told the truth, and he also told the secrets. Because when you look at the Word of Faith, I mean, you had Copeland, you had Hagen, you had you had a whole lot of ministers, and Fred Price was one of them. He was like the token black in that group. Mm-hmm. And so when it got revealed to him and he started talking about, hey, this is what God revealed, And then he started breaking. I mean, he taught on that for 77 weeks. And they tried to take him off the air.
Yep.
And so I feel as though that, hey, if y'all call yourselves faith people and faith worketh by love, why you trying to shut your brother down?
Mm-hmm.
How come you can't accept his truth? And how come you can't apologize or even ask for
because they know that they're not doing right at the end of the day. They know they're not.
Exactly.
But you want to call yourself doing right. You want this to follow you because something else has you distracted. And it's not God. It's probably greed. It's what it lust. It's something's got you. Yeah. And that's it.
It's that money because, and I tell people this, don't finance your own oppression. Because I'm like, I mean, it's plenty of black people that follow Kenneth Copeland. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh, when we said that man, his name, and when I think of my dad, I get so sad because I'm like, Dad, do you see this?
Yeah.
Like, please, do you see this? This man has fallen.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
And guess what? I'm no saint, but this man has fallen. I can admit that I'm not a saint. You're still going around pretending like you are next to God, and that's not cool.
Yeah. Well,
I am who I am, and I know who I am. I am definitely a sinner, and I will ask for forgiveness. I have gone through myself, but a person who leads other people to that, shame on you.
Yeah. Well,
and you'll pay for it at the end of the day when you stand before God. I mean, that's between you and Him.
Yeah.
It's not for me to do. But one thing I will say is I don't want people to follow that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's
a lot of them.
And here's the thing. It's nationalism mixed with Bible. But my question is, how is it that you can legislate lifestyle? You can't legislate lifestyle because everybody in our nation isn't Christian.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that they got to wake up to. And you're very vocal on abortion, but you won't say nothing about black kids getting shot by cops.
No, not at all. Not at all. But at the end of the day, I sit there and I think, what is a Christian anymore?
Yeah.
What is a Christian? In 2020, what is a Christian? Because if you think, okay, well, I need to be perfect and I'm going to pretend to be this way, that's not what a Christian is. Jesus didn't go to all the perfect people. Mm-hmm. He didn't have perfect followers. He didn't have perfect nothing. Yeah. What is a Christian? Who are you, and what are you holding yourself accountable for? Because accountability, which my mother told me last year, which is crazy because I am bringing it up now, accountability is everything. It is. And Christians and all these people who are sitting there, I don't care if you were on top at one point. I don't care if you were on point with God. Where are you right now?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Where are you right now? Because you can't be okay with the little black boy getting shot on the streets, but not be okay with people who kill babies because they were raped and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to sit there and fight that.
Yeah.
You can't on both sides. But I also don't think that there should be a judgment whatsoever. Mm-hmm. People who choose to get abortions, people who choose to whatever else, that's between you and God. It doesn't make it right, though, but to live in a society. Yeah. Not saying everybody has to be Christian, but we all do need to come to some type of agreement.
Yeah, exactly.
And come together in some way, shape, or form. And there is no room for hatred.
Yeah, I'm glad you said
that. None.
I'm glad you said that. I'm definitely glad you said that. So, hey, I want to change it up. So, hey, tell us about your artwork because your mom's a creative, your dad is a creative, you're a creative, your brother. I mean, you guys are like a family of artists. So, tell me about your artwork.
Apparently, my dad was an artist too.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know that,
oh yeah, I saw some of his drawings.
We are all artists except for Gretchen, who is a writer. She doesn't draw. God, she doesn't draw. I love my sister. She does not draw.
Okay.
My kids draw. Even my 2-year-old can draw. It's crazy. My artwork is how I deal. I'm a big person when it comes to mental health issues. I think that it's therapeutic and it's helpful for a lot of people. I believe that anybody can draw. Mm-hmm. That is just me. Even if it's crappy, it's still art. I've seen crappy artwork by famous people that sold for a lot of money. So what is art really? But for me, it's something that I like to do. It's something that I'm good at. It's something that sometimes like you get in these modes where it's like the other day I don't know if you looked at my Facebook page. The other night it was up until like 4:00 in the morning. Mm-hmm. and it was these two like biker people or whatever, and it's a painting, and it was on 9.5 by 11 by 14 canvas.
Okay.
Sorry, 11 by 14 black canvas. I started working on it, and I get these moments where it's just straight passion. It's just something that I like to do. I watched my mom paint and draw. My mother is a phenomenal artist. My brother is a phenomenal artist. I look at myself and I'm like, oh, this is child's play. And everyone's like, oh, you're so good. And I'm like, nah. I look at you guys' stuff and you guys are really good. Mm-hmm. It is something that I went to school for, but decided more on the lines of this is something I do for fun. It's something I enjoy. I don't want to make a job out of it because if it becomes my living, it won't be fun anymore.
Okay.
And that's my decision. Other people can do art for life and good for them. I'm not that person. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I don't do it. And I did a book cover recently.
Okay. I
had to have my mother talk me through it because I hated the design. I hope this woman never listens to this. I hated that design. It was so terrible. One of the things about me doing artwork is I will do it and I will do it the way that you like it. And I actually enjoy getting to the point that if a person comes to me and they say that they see this and this is what they want for this, if I can create that, that is amazing. And I love it. And I love it for them. I don't always like what they liked for themselves.
Yeah.
So I think that the most recent book cover that I did was hilarious because I thought it was terrible. And the woman gave me 24 hours. She paid me extra. I had 24 hours to do an illustration for a book cover. Mm-hmm. And it is one of the greatest feelings ever. It was probably the highlight of my life in September. It was the highlight of my month. Because I could do it and I can't and I enjoy it. Right now I'm looking at a picture of my version of the Joker on my wall. It says, "Why so serious?" Mm-hmm. And it has a lot of meaning to it, a lot of my own personal feelings. A lot of my art has been me expressing just everything, It's my heart sometimes. It's how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'm feeling chill. I make a chill painting. Sometimes I'm feeling angsty and angry and whatever else, and that's what I paint. But the one thing I will say about art is that people look at it and they go, "Is that you?" Yes, it's me. I get tired of telling people it's not me. It's me. Yeah. You just pick whatever I choose. It's me. It's fine. Sometimes it is me. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a different person. It's something that I just have a passion for. My grandparents, my mother's parents had an art gallery. My grandparents took me so many art shows. I had my first art show when I was 15.
Wow.
And listen, I'm still trying to figure out how people actually bought this. I almost sold out of all my paintings. I think I still only have like 3 of them. Mm-hmm. I have like 20. I'm still shocked. I'm so shocked, and I'm 38. I'm shocked because people really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had people stealing my my sketchbooks when I was in school, when I was in high school and middle school, because they wanted my pictures, and I thought that was weird.
Yeah, that is weird. So
it's very weird, but it's very real, and it really happens. And it's like you can just ask me to draw you a picture. They're drawing you a picture.
Mm-hmm. They so, are you taking your clients right now?
Yes, I am. I'm actually working with 2 different people who they do like book covers and stuff like that. I'm working with those 2, but I do more. Mostly right now I'm doing paintings. So if you actually contact me and want me to do something for you, like you need a book cover or whatever, or a logo or whatever done, I will do it. Okay. I am and I don't do computer art. It's not the same thing. I really actually like painting. I really like drawing. Mm-hmm. I don't think drawing on a computer is the same thing. It's weird and whatever, but you'll get something unique and you'll get something that can't really be copied. It's mine. Okay. And it's yours. You'll always pay for it. That sounds crazy, but and probably mean. I always feel weird about selling artwork. Does that sound weird? But I'm just like, oh, it's something that I do that I love. That's talent. It's naturally given to me, and I should share it with the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But I do take on new clients, depending on what you want. And if I cannot do whatever it is that you need me to do, I probably know who can.
Okay.
Which is great.
That's great. So how can people can they follow your artwork on social media? Do you have like a web page?
You'll see most of my artwork probably on Instagram, and my name is Lauren Renee 82. It's Lauren, Lauren, Renee, Renae. Please don't put EE because you won't find me. 82. On Instagram, you can actually look up my page. It's probably private, but request me. As long as I don't think there's some weirdo trying to stalk me, I probably will accept you. I haven't. And on Facebook, my name is Lauren Renee Hilton. Again, the Renee is Renae. But you can go on there and you can actually see some of my artwork. I'm just getting back into it, but it doesn't mean I'm out of the game. I actually have done quite a few things in 2020, which is amazing because I didn't even put myself out there. I was just playing around.
Yeah.
And I had people approach me like, can you do this? And I'm like, sure. Doesn't really matter. I can pretty much do anything. I'm pretty confident and I do work with people and it is what it is. I like doing it.
Okay. Well, that's great. And let me ask you this. You got anything coming up virtual? Any virtual shows or anything like that coming up?
No. The biggest thing that I'd like to do, to be honest with you, because I have a lot of artist friends, it would be nice if I could get them together and actually do a virtual art show. I need to have a few more things put together for myself because I'd like to actually be in it. But I don't, but I will definitely, I'll keep you posted because maybe you can get it out there for me.
Yeah.
You probably have a bigger following than I do. But if I do have something coming up, I will definitely let you know. I know a lot of great artists, not just my family. My family is great, but I do have friends that do it also, including myself. But I should probably by Christmas time, I will have more paintings up and more prints up and more stuff up and be able to link you guys to other people. You know, I have a friend named Asia and she actually is really great and we haven't talked about it, but I really hope that she says yes to actually doing some work with me. And actually, I'd like to rebuild like an art gallery where you can actually do that and put up your own work. I don't want any of the money, to be honest with you. I just like to get stuff out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are thought processes. I mean, I'm home all the time with the babies, so this is things that I think about. I only get to paint at night when the babies sleep.
Okay. I totally get that. So hey, last request. Can you give us some words of wisdom and encouragement?
I thought about this for a minute. How do I say this? Life, and the simplest is what you make it, whether good or bad, whether you are on top, you're at the bottom, whether it's what you want or what you don't want. It is what you make it, and you have to find peace and happiness within yourself. And I will definitely tell you that prayer works. I'll tell you that God works. I will tell you that the peace and love of God is an amazing thing. All you always do is go to Him and talk to Him about it. And I would not tell you something that I don't know personally, and there were years that I didn't know this, but it actually is true. And I still am there. I am not perfect. And nobody should ever expect you to be perfect. Be yourself, but be accountable for yourself at the same time. And as far as happiness is concerned, it's whatever you make it. Find something that you love. And life is not easy. And I think I'm saying this more to the people who are my kids' age, because I realize that they're going through a lot because I talk to a bunch of teenagers. You know, life isn't perfect and it doesn't always end up what you want it to be. But the thing is, you make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Take for a person who's been through a lot and actually has been at the bottom and has realized that life sucks and I don't want to do this anymore. I've been from that, and I'm 38 years old, and I can tell you right now that I thank God for every single moment, whether it be perfect or not. I thank God that I'm here. And you should just be thankful for this moment, whether you believe in God or not, whatever you decide, be happy that you're here. And because you are here, that means that you can do something to change whatever it is, or you can be happy about whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing is, like, just be easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people say, like, don't take life too seriously. Nobody gets out alive. Know that sounds really morbid, but it's very true. It's what you make it. It's what you choose to believe. And that's that. Be happy with yourself. And if you're not and you want to change something, then change it. You have time. And guess what? When you don't have any more time anymore, then none of what you were just thinking doesn't matter anyway. Yeah. And that sounds crazy too. But just be happy. Be you. Be okay and strive for better things. I don't know. I'm not really like full of wisdom. I give hugs.
I like that. I'm serious. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm serious. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm glad.
I have to apologize to anybody I offended by anything, but like that is it. I give hugs. Mm-hmm. To that person.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you for asking me to do this. I talk a lot, usually. A whole lot. I probably have talked a lot. Oh my gosh.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But thank you for listening to me.
Oh, hey, no problem. No problem. Hey, we definitely got to do this again, and I'm hoping, we could definitely sit down and have another interview and everything. So
yeah.
I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys. Seriously, I honor your mom. I honor you and your sister, your brother. I honor your family because you guys have been very instrumental in where I am right now. And that's the God knows truth, because I look at it, if it weren't for you guys, I probably wouldn't even be here doing this interview with you right now. And that's the God knows truth.
Well, I'm glad that my dad and my family helped somebody. It's really, his 10th, it was like the anniversary, the 20th anniversary of his death. They did that banquet.
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody who was there understood. I was going through a lot at the moment, but it was so nice to hear how many people he touched and how many people he helped. I am so happy for you all of you all. And that makes me happy to hear because it was all worth something. It was all for something.
Yeah. My first book, I dedicated it to him and my mom. And that's the truth. Yeah. I wrote a book. It was called Church Member 101. And some of the concepts that are in that book, I learned them through Pastor George, and I dedicated that book to him and my mom. And I said,
that's so sweet.
Yeah. So I said, Lord, if I ever have a church building, I said, Lord, I'm going to make sure that our sanctuary is going to be called the Hilton Sanctuary, and I'm going to make sure the first thing that you see when you come through that door, other than the cross, you're going to see Pastor George's picture.
Well, so far, you have my approval. I promise I won't burn it down or anything else like that. Or 18-year-old me won't build a time machine and come and burn it down. Yeah. I really do appreciate that. My family, I'm sure, appreciates it. All of us. Yeah. And so, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Because our church is for activists. Our church is called Truth and Life Urban Ministry, and it's a place where faith and activism meet. And so, as
it should be. Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah. So I ain't gonna lie. I said, one of our theme songs is "Try Jesus, don't try me, because I throw hands." Like,
actually, I might use that.
Yeah, because my thing is, I'm like, no, you ain't going to just. I'm sorry, I love.
Yeah, it's like I'm not the one.
I'm not the one. I'm sorry. The way the climate is now, I'm like, oh hell no.
Let me tell you, that's how I feel about when it comes to my babies.
Yeah.
Ooh. If you ever didn't want to fight with me, you definitely don't want to. If you pick it with my babies.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you coming against
you don't
me,
want this person.
Do something. You coming against my baby. You coming against my wife, my kids.
Listen, but that's how I feel about all black people as a whole. You come against one of them. It is like coming against my babies too. Yeah, it is. You might not get all the fire, but you can get some fire too.
Oh yeah,
I respect it.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get that smoke.
Get this fire. But... Oh no, mine's not smoke. Mine's definitely fire. You should run.
Okay. But hey, look, I just want to say thank you, and I so appreciate you.
Yeah, but thank you for having me, and yeah, maybe I can get my sister to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I need you to do one thing for me.
What's that?
Because she's going to seriously. There's a story about me and some people and some grape juice for communion and some wafers.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you, next time you talk to my mother, ask her about this story. But I'm going to tell you this. You can't prove anything. The only thing is she knows is whatever I told her, so it doesn't really matter. But she is dying to tell you this story. So do me a favor, if you ever do another thing with her, ask her about that story because she really wants to tell it to you, and I really refuse.
The grape juice and the wafers, you want me to ask your mom with that?
Ask her about the grape juice, the wafers, and her children. I know that sounds really weird.
Oh, I can imagine.
But there are, I can tell you right now that there are 5 people who went to Church of the Firstborn, 5 children between, 3 other ones, including me and my sister, who know about this story, and I'm very sorry, and I didn't say anything. I am no snitch. But it's really funny. She wanted me to tell you the story tonight, and I told her I refused. So you can ask her about it. She'll tell you about it.
Okay, yeah, because I definitely want to talk with your mother again, and hopefully I can talk with your sister. We'll talk about activism.
Oh yeah, yeah. I will talk to her. I promise you, I will talk to her about it. I can't make any promises to do it, but I will talk to her about it.
Yeah, all right.
Because that's important.
All right. Well, hey, look, you have yourself a great evening.
Oh, you too. I'm about to go downstairs and go play with a 2-year-old. Yay!
All right. Hey, you be blessed and be safe, okay?
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys, that was Lauren Hilton. Oh, my God. Man, Lord, thank you. Thank you for today because this story needed to be heard. I'm serious. This story needed to be heard. You needed to see her perspective. You need to see her angle and how she viewed things. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for her perspective. I'm thankful for her voice, her convictions, and everything that God has done for her family and how they still came out on the other side. So this is what we're about. And the one thing that I will say is this, is that God has called us for such a time as this. And that's the one thing I take away from this interview. Because I look at, their lives and I see, when I look back and see Pastor George's life, and I'm just thankful because had not been for that family, we wouldn't have this platform. I wouldn't even have Truth and Life Urban Ministry. And there's a whole lot of ministers out here. They wouldn't be where they are and doing what they're doing if it wasn't for Pastor George and the Hilton family. So with that being said, guys, I can't wait to upload this. That's the God Knows Truth.
Walk in the truth that makes you free every day. Follow Brother Leon on all social media outlets.